They shoot not because they're courageous or bold or brave. They shoot because they're afraid.
I don't like to go to policemen's funerals.
Each year across the United States, men and women are issued badges and guns, dressed in blue uniforms to uphold the law. The job descriptions are often 30 pages long, detailing tasks for which no sensible person would volunteer. What kind of people accept such a job, and what happens to them when they do? Mike Harrington was bored with his previous job. He wanted to be a police officer so much that he showed up on the first day of training with his haircut even shorter than regulation length. He admits to being something of a hot dog. Linda Davis has wanted to be a police officer since she was 16. She has 3 things working against her: her height, her sex, and her husband. Kyle Jackson never really wanted to be a police officer. But when his girlfriend talked him into taking the test, he got the top possible score. He decided to give it a try. Jackson, Harrington, and Davis are joining an exclusive and to some degree separate world by becoming police officers. Before their first day of training, they had little idea what effect wearing these uniforms would have on their lives. I'm Earl Holloman, here at the Los Angeles Police Academy. Those sounds you hear in the background are pistols and shotguns being fired. And the next hour, you're going to hear a lot of that, because we're about to take you behind the scenes where civilians are turned into police officers, where cameras are usually forbidden. In a moment, we'll join our rookies on their first day at this academy, and whatever happens to them, we'll be there through 6 months of grueling training, graduation, that first tense day on the job, and then a year and a half later as full-fledged police officers. In the next hour, you'll see these 2 dramatic years in the making of a police officer, the way it really happens.
What class is this? I can't hear you. What class is this? You leave all that junk over there on those tables. All I want's your body over here. Give me a single file on this black line. Move, move, move!
These civilians are being welcomed to their first day of classes at the Los Angeles Police Academy.
Well, move it! What are you waiting on?
Chosen from over 7,000 applicants, these 47 men and 5 women have gone through extensive physical, oral, and psychological testing to become police recruits.
Now, whatever you did before, wherever you were, is insignificant. You are now at the Los Angeles Police Academy. You will conduct yourselves like police recruits, or you won't be here very long.
Some who get this far change their minds during the 6 months of training.
You over there moving around, get out and give me 10 push-ups. You, move down.
For them, it's too strenuous, or too demanding, or too dehumanizing.
Down! Now, you 2 people right here in the middle are about to make me angry this morning. Both of you can't be 4. What's your number? 4. 1, 2.
The first recruit to quit didn't take long to make up his mind. He left before noon of the first day.
What is this, huh? Kane, Kahn, Cook, Davis.
The first few days, you don't know what is going to happen, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and, you know, they start yelling and screaming at you and start thinking, oh, do I really want to be here or not?
Raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. And
While the recruits are thinking how different this all is from television police shows, they are quickly lined up, fingerprinted, and sworn in. And at every turn, they are taught the social niceties of being a police recruit.
The first and last word out of your mouths from now on at this academy will be sir. Is that understood? Sir. Yes, sir. I can't hear you. Is that understood? Sir. Yes, sir.
By the time the recruits file out to meet their training officer, it's clear that if there is any glamour to police work, it won't be found here.
There's no profession on the face of this globe that's more complicated, that has more intricacies, that has more problems than law enforcement. One minute you're out there helping some little old man find his way back to his rest home, and the next minute you're out there trying to stop some robbery suspects from holding up a store, and you may be in a gun battle. And I'll tell you something, I hear a lot of recruits telling me about how they're trying. And I want to tell you this, trying doesn't get it. You've got to do it. Because if you're out there someday rolling around an alley with some suspect and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no help readily available, that suspect's not going to be impressed with how hard you're trying to defeat him. That suspect's only going to be impressed by one thing, and that's total and ultimate victory. You've got to win. So I'm not going to be impressed with your claims of how hard you're trying. What I'm going to be impressed with is your achievements.
Over the bar.
In other lines of work, trying is very important. And I'm not saying it's not important here, but trying without achievement in this line of work can be a fatal flaw.
Work, pull, 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 pull.
The Academy operates on what it calls the stress overload principle. These recruits will be pushed and tested beyond any limits of endurance they might have known before entering the Academy. Pushed physically and pushed emotionally.
You gotta hurt, Blair. I'm hurting, sir. You gotta hurt more. Yes, sir.
It's a survival course designed for maximum psychological stress.
Ready, let's go.
I think it requires a lot of soul searching, or at least I know it did for me. You know, can I do it? Can I handle it? I quickly found out I wasn't as in good a shape as I wanted to be, and I knew I was going to have problems running.
People say, well, I don't have to chase a burglar 3 miles. Why do I have to run 3 miles? Now, let's say you only chase a burglar 150, 200 yards. That's short of 3 miles. But if you don't have good overall conditioning as a result of some long-distance running, what are you going to do when you catch him? You're not going to have the physical staying power to do anything with him now that you got him. And then you know what happens? In panic, you pull out your gun and blow his brains out.
Push it now. Sprint. Open up everything you got.
Through, Jackson.
18. 8:21, 8:22, 8:23, 8:24.
Remember those times. Push it, Senna.
8:27.
Early in the academy, coming in, I was a little relaxed, thinking, you know, here I am, bachelor's degree in criminal justice and, you know, directly pursuant to a master's degree in public administration. This would be cakewalk. I found out soon, pretty rigorous.
That's me! 9:57.
Walk it off, walk it off.
You make it?
Yeah,
Go, Levitt! Go, Levitt, come on, let's go, let's go! Come on! Almost there! Go, Levitt!
Flip it out!
Go. Come on, keep running!
Come on, finish it!
All right. You're on. Hurry up. Let's go. So I'll tell you, you really haven't done a whole lot today. The only thing you've done today is warm your bodies up a little bit and get acclimated. That's all. I am sure somebody's admonished some of you people the need to be in good physical shape when you came in here, and some of you apparently ignored those admonishments. Some of you look like you're ready to die. You did a few sit-ups, a few push-ups, a few pull-ups, and ran 1.25 miles, and some of you look like you're ready to die, and I bet you the average age in this class is probably much over 25 years old. It's a pretty sorry thing. Yeah, I'm not just referring to Lovett either. And I'll tell you what, it looks to some of you, we got a long, hard row ahead of us.
For Claudia Lovett, the gap between trying and achievement was too wide. She was dropped from the 977 class. For the remaining rookies, class begins tomorrow at 6 a.m.
That clear? Yes, sir! Is that clear?
Yes, sir!
Be aware that when you're by yourself, in this kind of a situation, if you're shot, communications doesn't know where you are, they're going to send vehicles out looking for you.
I decided when I was 16 years old that I wanted to be a policewoman, right? And about that time, there was an article that came out in the calendar in the LA Times. It was about a policewoman on LAPD, and man, I had that thing tacked up on my wall for years till it just absolutely fell apart, you know. And that's been 11 years now.
When it came time to enter the academy, Linda Davis discovered that her husband, a deputy sheriff, didn't share her dream.
I was scheduled for the March class, and we started having fights about it. He didn't want me to go in. He didn't want me to go in.
Come on, David.
And finally I said, okay, I'm not going in. But if you ever tell me I can go, then I want to go. And one day he pops up out of the clear blue sky and says, why don't you go use your oral score? And I said, what? So, here I am.
The standards for male and female recruits at the Los Angeles Police Academy are the same. Whatever the activity might be, they are required to perform equally well.
Drag it up. Get your grip, David.
Go on, David. Go on. Stay on your feet. All right. Good. Hey, back in the car. Let's go. 22. Great.
Now, I know you all came on the job with one purpose in mind. And that was to go out and chase bad guys with red light and siren, right? Okay, we're going to give you that opportunity. The bad guy's going to be myself.
Although no one came close to catching the instructor that first day, by the end of the 3-day course, Linda Davis had achieved the second fastest time in the class.
It was funny, when we were down at driver's training, Josephson says, what in the world drives you? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you know, it seems like everything you do, you know, you just do it all out. And I said, well, that's just the way I am, you know. And my way of life is, you know, I try to follow the good book, right? The good book says, everything that you do it to the glory of the Lord. So I figure everything I do, I might as well do it the best I can, right? Otherwise, I'm cheating myself or anybody around me. And that's the way I try to live.
Stop, police!
I like to test myself, to make myself do better things, you know, to improve myself, you know, just to see what I can accomplish. And I'll tell you, this academy has really been a challenge.
1810.
Between trying to keep my personal life together and keep my grades up and perform, and, you know, it's like you're in a fishbowl and everybody's watching you. And every time you turn around, there's somebody looking at you, you know, and you always have to perform.
Just a little bit more. You can angle your hand over a little bit.
If there's one thing that sets police apart from the rest of us, it's that they carry guns, on duty and most times off duty as well.
Now get your feet into position. Your left foot should be forward. And
The recruits know that they're novices when it comes to firearms. Only 4 out of 53 have had prior military service, and many have never fired a gun before entering the academy. The shooting policy of the Los Angeles Police Department states that officers can fire in self-defense, in defense of others, and at dangerous fleeing felons. All these circumstances require split-second judgment by the officer on the spot. So hours of classroom time are spent trying to anticipate the decisions that will have to be made.
Make a decision, or you have to hesitate and think about it, then perhaps you shouldn't shoot. And you should allow this guy to get away, because later on down the road, we're going to capture him again.
yeah, I'm not too good at it.
I think about getting shot. I don't think about getting killed. That's something that you just, you know, everyone's going to die, and if you could sit and ponder on it and maybe get all depressed and everything. And if you get killed, it's more likely that I'll get shot and I won't get killed, though.
Much of the 960 hours of academy training is spent learning the theories, rules, and tactics of police work. But an officer's most valuable asset, the ability to take charge of any situation he faces, can't be taught from books or videotapes. Command presence is learned by doing.
sir. I'm glad you showed up. What happened? I was robbed.
The recruits practice in simulated situations where they are expected to bring book learning to life. And it's rarely as easy as it seems in a book.
Mr. Buddy's the cat that hit me in the head. But y'all want him arrested. That's all there is to it.
Okay, then we'll call some paramedics.
Well, I wish you would, but I want this cat arrested. Remember, you don't get hit in the head every day with a pool cue.
For the recruits, it's one step closer to the reality of being on the streets.
Man arrested.
I asked myself several times in the early days of my academy training, Kyle, what are you doing here? But later on, it started to have more meaning to me.
Don't stop. Pump. Pump, Harrington. Pump. Come on, Harrington. Go, Harrington. 20. You need 5. You need 5. Come on.
Every police officer that works for Los Angeles Police Department, from the chief of police all the way down to the youngest guy in the academy, knows that they've gone through that academy. And I think that kind of thing keeps us close.
All right. As the weeks of intense training continue, the recruits grow closer together. They also grow farther away from the outside world, including their wives and families. After 2 months, the outsiders were invited to the academy for their first glimpse of this exclusive world.
What your pressure is right here, you see, in the carotid arteries, all right? So all they do is they get a sensation of, like, maybe the head, it feels like it's getting a little bit big, which Gould's is anyway.
Behind the laughter, the wives have a lot on their minds. Some are already finding their old friends drifting away, uncomfortable in the company of a policeman. And following graduation, more changes are in store for them.
What you may find is a somewhat drastic change in personality, in attitudes. The sweet, soft fellow that you married or that you've been going with may all of a sudden become cynical and suspicious. If you have children, they may be searched. It comes across as, you know, I'm really hot stuff. They call it John Wayne syndrome because the officer may have his hand on his gun, you know, sort of walk. And be, you know, really rigid, everything's this way, and there's no humor at all. You know. Tends to be a lot of socializing just with other officers and thinking, well, the wife doesn't know anything, I'm going to stay after work and have drinks with the guys.
If you can anticipate this, what can you do to help him? In, you know, in anticipation of it, so you can avoid such a thing, because I couldn't live with anybody in that kind of, you know.
I think you talk about
I've been married 8 years, and I'm not about to change either.
Well, sometimes there are more problems with someone who's married years before and then sees a change afterwards. I would talk about it. I would be very open about it, but it still happens. And it's not, I'm not saying that it's a really bad thing. It helps people survive and get through, and that's good. I don't have any great answer for you, wish I did.
Some husbands did eventually resign in order to save their marriages. Linda Arzades was one. But contrary to popular belief, police officers don't get divorced any more often than the general public, even though their on-the-job stresses are much greater.
Come on, get up there, run! Go!
Okay, gentlemen, this is going to be our opportunity to fire this combat range.
Police officer, freeze!
On this range out here, there's going to be target discrimination. There's going to be some targets that you're required to shoot at and some that you don't shoot at. This range is designed to very closely parallel what we do on the street. And it gives us a chance to see you under stress.
It's a bad technique. It's a bad place to find yourself between two vehicles.
Okay, I see where my,
if the guy wants to get back in.
cover should have been, right over there.
It's the most obvious thing there is on the street. It'll stop anything short of a 20-millimeter cannon. Okay?
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
Be a little more discriminating. Take a look at what you have before you pull the trigger. Otherwise, you're going to be killing people out there, and they're not going to be suspects. They're going to be citizens. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. If the gun goes off in this position, what's going to happen to your ears? Probably going to lose them. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Keep the weapon pointed out in front of you where you can get it as quickly as you can in a position where you can use it. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir.
Get 1-2 hits on here.
Get something board with you.
That's a ricochet there. See that right there?
1-2 hits on this target. The man with a pistol, the man with a shotgun had you cold. You're standing there trying to get that bullet in that gun, and you're a sitting target. You'd have been somebody whose funeral I would have gone to. I don't like to go to policemen's funerals. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Please take a breath.
Class ranks continue to shrink. By the end of the 12th week, 16 recruits are gone.
The people that weren't really that cool aren't there anymore, you know, and they put you in a high-pressure situation where you guys either get together or you guys are going to suffer every time you turn around.
2 on your belly. 1 on your feet. 2.
10 seconds.
Everybody was just so relieved that it was over and so tired and so proud that all of us made it that we were just about crying.
Graduation. Everyone spends their time shining their gear up and getting everything all spit shine, just perfect. Well, we're waiting up at the top and the motorcycles are all doing their precision drills, and we got like about 2 minutes to go. And someone comes up to me and we all have our white gloves on and everything. They said, "Harrington, you forgot to shave." So oh no. So I went over to the drill instructor and I said, "Hey, I got to go down to the, go down to the locker room and shave real quick." So he says, "Okay, you only got a minute." So I take off running with all my spit shine gear on and my uniform all looking good, and take off running all the way across the academy and get in there and take a razor right out of my locker and just dry shave, just tearing my face up. And I took about 3 coats of skin right off my face. I took off and run back up there and they're lining up ready to go. So I catch my breath and we start marching down and trying to look, calm and precise.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating officers of the 9 and 11 classes of 1977.
I think it's a combination of everything that you have experienced in all your life, all coming together. You're marching out on the field, the chief of police and all the brass and the citizens, they're out there, your family's out there, and you say, "Hey, I'm a part of this, and this is great." And you feel proud.
Prepare for inspection!
I remember when the chief came down and inspected us. Being short, I had that cap about 2 fingers right above my nose. And somebody in black went by, and they walked on by, and I thought, whew, we went by, and all of a sudden this big frame stopped right in front of me, and I went, uh-oh, because all I could see was about his chest.
How tall are you?
5'6", sir.
5'6", so you just barely made the height limit.
Just barely, sir.
Should we have women shorter than you, or should we have any police officer shorter than you?
That's a hard question, sir. I'm here. I'm very happy that you did lower the height requirement. I don't think they should get much shorter. I really don't.
Is training difficult?
Yes, sir.
But you managed it?
Yes, sir.
Good. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you, sir.
That's a good name, too.
Thank you, sir.
It should go far.
Congratulations, officer. We're happy to have a Davis who's a woman.
Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, the police department represented the system. And I didn't like it growing up.
All my life I've lived in Los Angeles, and I know that Los Angeles has a reputation of being the best in the world.
You know, I'd had the attitude that chasing suspects in a black and white car was a job for the others, not for Kyle Jackson. But I really think I'm going to enjoy this.
First squad, remain.
Why'd you become a Los Angeles police officer, Harry?
It was the only job I knew where I could be challenged constantly.
Have you been challenged this far?
Yes, sir.
You really have?
Yes,
What'd you think of the training?
sir, I anticipated it'd be rough, but I couldn't dream it would be as tough as it was.
It's like a 6-month cram session, it really is. If you can pick up as much of it as possible, and it's all scrambled, and you know, you don't know what you can do yet, when you go out in the street, all that stuff that they trained you at will kind of fall into place. And hopefully, it works. You know, it's got to work.
The graduation night dance is held in the same gymnasium where just 6 months ago, 53 scared recruits lined up against the wall.
Now, whatever you did before, wherever you were, is insignificant. You are now at the Los Angeles Police Academy.
Tonight, 35 are back to celebrate their graduation and to remember the good old days.
They've put us through so much here, you know, that it's amazing what you can take. Chris would tell me, I know that you can make it through the academy, you know, and everybody knows that you can make it through the academy. And I said, yeah, it's really one thing saying that you know you could make it, and quite another thing to go ahead and do it. And so I've done it, and I've made it, and I came out pretty good.
After the dance, the rookies have very little time to enjoy their accomplishments. The next morning, their first day on the streets, they're starting all over again at the bottom of the ladder. And from now on, throughout their 1-year probation, the most important thing to them is to prove that they're competent police officers, and by doing so, to be accepted by their peers as part of the force. The first test they face is when they meet their new training officer.
Working with a female is new to me, so we're going to be learning a lot together. It's, I'm not opposed to it, but I would be untruthful if I didn't tell you I was a little uncomfortable, apprehensive at first until I get to know you, and obviously until you get to know me better. So we'll see what happens, and I'm sure there won't be any problems. And if there are, there still won't be any problems.
Sounds like a plan.
Right. I expect you to back me up 100% in anything I become involved in. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's judged by a person at a later time. But while the situation is happening, it's not the time to stop and ask questions. You follow through with whatever you're doing.
Okay.
First day at Newton Division. Roll call was at 6:45 in the morning. I was there at 5:45. Other officers started to come in. No one said anything to me. They were joking with each other and laughing, and I wondered if I would ever be that friendly with, you know, those guys one day. But I was just so nervous. First day out in the field, you know, full-fledged policeman.
You don't have any business loitering around out in front of this liquor store.
All right, you better go on home. All right? Okay?
I'm waiting on
Okay? Who are you waiting on? Who are you waiting on?
Lady.
Where's she at?
Married.
You better get her and get on.
I know in the beginning there's going to be a lot of nervousness, not out of fear, but out of a lack of experience. And It's going to take a while to really shake the recruit academy blues, if you will.
Wait somewhere else. The man from the liquor store doesn't want you here. I'll let you talk to this individual and find out what the circumstances.
Morning, did you call? The thing that makes me the maddest is people ripping other people off when they're out earning a living, you know, trying to get by, and they come home and their home has been burglarized, and that makes me mad. That's one reason why I'm a police officer. Okay, what was taken?
A pair of sunglasses and his cashier's check for $566.
$567.66.
567.66.
There's a man with an analytical mind. That's all the funds he's got. He knows that he's got it.
I'm doing what I want to do, what I've always wanted to do. You know, and it is really a great feeling. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning instead of just grumbling when the alarm goes off, you know, although I don't have to get up till 6:30. I'm in love with life again. I really like it.
In a moment, we'll see if Linda and the other rookies still feel the same way about police work a year and a half later. It's been a year and a half since we last saw our rookies at graduation. Mike Harrington is working evening watch, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. at the Foothill Division.
X84, show code 12-12933, Foothill.
Some months you're really lucky, and you'll make a lot of arrests, and you start feeling, hey, you know, I'm a good policeman. And then the next month it'll be a bad month, and you can't even write a ticket. You know, just nothing. You can't find a guy illegally parked. You know, you can't do anything.
I can't even see a license yet. There's some bikes.
He's been around for a long time. He's clean.
A police officer's own duty time doesn't move quite like it does on a TV cop show, with an hour of fast action interrupted by 6 commercial breaks. It's more often than not 8 hours of fruitless radio calls, paperwork, and routine traffic stops.
There you go. Your hands up there on your head.
Sometimes I come home and I'm uptight. You know, the night wasn't really a profitable night as far as I'm concerned. I didn't do anything really good, or it was just, you know, busy with a lot of just radio calls or something. I never got a chance to do any, you know, snooping around.
The reason we stopped is you don't have your headlights on.
No, I just seen it turn around.
In those nights, I'll sit up sometimes for a while before I go to bed, just because I can't sleep.
It's good.
It's good?
Boss is here.
You're on your way, Mike.
Appreciate it.
You got it.
16X84, do we have any description of suspect or vehicle on our call?
Once in a while, a radio call does come through that makes even a veteran officer's adrenaline pump. 211, a robbery in progress.
Suspect is a male Caucasian, blonde hair, 21 years, wearing no shirt and blue Levi's.
No shirt and blue Levi's.
What guy's that?
The guy that robbed the store. He ran that way and he fell down.
We were holding him. Yeah, okay. We'll go down. Say he's no shirt, blue Levi's.
Did you get Patty?
Any gun?
16X84, suspect of our 211 left westbound on Osborne from the location. Witts stated that he was very under the influence of something and having a bad time running.
If we have to get to the scene of a crime, and we get there so fast that by the time we get there, we're too hyped up to do what we're supposed to do, and we're useless. In fact, we're a danger. So we got to slow down and go into it slow enough and controlled enough that you can handle it once you get there.
Yeah, that's him. 16X84, show us code 6 on the possible 211 suspect, Osborne and Nordoff. Is that where we are right now, by the way?
You're Woodman and Nordoff.
Hey, put your hands out. Make that.
Put your hands in the car.
Woodman and Nordoff.
16X84,
Hey man, I demand to be known what I'm handcuffed for.
We'll find out.
Get the fuck out of my back pocket, boy. Yeah, you did that shit. You did that.
Just relax,
Get the
pal.
fuck, you ask me for ID and I'll give it to you.
Just relax.
Don't throw me down on no goddamn car. 'Cause I ain't got time for you.
You've got to be able to handle your own emotion. But that's not easy at all. They're saying, okay, get going, get the emotions going, you know, get the adrenaline pumping. And then, okay, I've got control of this guy. Now he's, you know, now he's mine. And then all of a sudden, you got to find some kind of a release and just go. Let all that adrenaline go out and let all that emotion go out. And, you know, I've got what I want. And it's really tough.
Hey, stay down there, pal.
That's why you work out. Lift weights or play racquetball or do something where you can let out your aggression. You know, don't play golf.
Sit down. Put your feet in my car.
I wanted to think that I could change things, but I knew I couldn't. You've got a dream and then you've got reality. And I'll put in however many years I work this job, and when I leave, none of the crooks for sure will never know that I was here. They'll keep on doing their bad things. And I like the job. With almost 2 years on, there's a lot of times when I say, hey, I don't know near what there is to know. Probably 5 years, I might get to the point where I think I can handle just about any situation that would come up the right way.
Los Angeles Police Department.
Are you going to be there at that location?
Yes, please.
7091-031 Adam Yankino, 170 Global.
At 3300 Winter Avenue. Suspects using the knife. 4096.
Last year, the Los Angeles Police Department received 2.5 million calls for service. A single officer at Central Communications may handle as many as 300 calls a day. This is not a plum assignment for any officer who's eager to prove himself on the streets. A year and a half after graduation, we found 9 members of the 977 class here, including Kyle Jackson.
Okay, the next time you have the problem with the gentleman, you give us a call and we'll send someone over there and have a talk with him, okay? Okay, goodbye.
When I first received notice that I was going to be transferred to the communications division, I was just off of probation, just assigned to a unit, and to be snatched up from that, sent to communications, I was just upset. I did not want to go. I called some people that I knew, you know, to see whatever I could do to get out of it. There was no way to get out of it. I had to go.
We'll get someone over there right away. We're gonna have someone come.
I've learned how rude and nasty some of the public can be. But then people are upset, they've been hurt, things have been taken away from them, and they're upset and they want somebody over there. And the discipline has taught me to not succumb to that type of confrontation.
One persistent caller even thinks he wants to punch Kyle out. Kyle patiently tries to convince him otherwise.
First thing when he comes on, he says, "You white-ass policeman, I'm gonna kick your ass." I say, "I'm black, sir." "Goddamn white, take that gun on and that belt off, I'll kick your white ass." I said, "Sir, but I'm black." "You a lie." And I call all the other guys, "Hey, come listen to this." And he's listening, and they just crack up.
Okay, what the police officers have to do now is recover it. Okay?
After a year and a half, Kyle Jackson no longer wonders if he'll ever become friendly with those guys. He's found the acceptance he sought on that first day, but he'll have to sit out his 6-month assignment on the phones before getting back where he really wants to be, on the streets. That's where Linda Davis is, though she's found that her job satisfaction has not improved the relationship with her husband.
I'm very, independent and strong-willed anyway. And then being a police officer on top of it and being exposed to the kind of things that I have to do, it's just made me stronger. And he began competing with me, and I was just being me. And the farther it went, the worse it got. And it just got down to the point where he demanded that I quit or we get a divorce. And I said, Chris, I've worked all these years to get this job. I said, you above all people know how much it meant to me. I said, I'm not strong enough to go in and turn in my badge and gun and everything and just turn away and walk away. I can't do it. You know, help me out a little bit. And he said, well, how do you go about getting a divorce? And that was the end of that.
Linda Davis and her husband were divorced, and with their personal conflicts resolved for the moment, she is free to pursue her dream. But that dream is about to be drastically altered.
I was really gung-ho after I got out of the academy. I was in a situation where every time I turned around, I was getting into something, and I loved it. You know, it was exciting, you know, running here, running there, you know, walking into a situation, taking care of it, then go on to the next situation, and then that's when it really gets fun. One night, we went driving by a market, and we heard the burglar alarm going off, so we checked the front, nothing, went around the back, and my partner went up on the roof, and I went around the side, and the door was open. And I started getting hinky. You know, the hackles were going up in the back of my neck, and I started wishing that I had eyes in the back of my head. And so I got my gun out, and I started looking around, you know, and there's just that flashlight beam is no way big enough. You know, they could be hiding anywhere, you know, and, you know, you get to the point you're really starting to shake, you know, and you looked around this door, and there was, you know, the cooler equipment, and the door was ajar about that far, and I looked, you know, and I looked around, and here's his foot hanging out, and I thought, oh, no, you know, come on out of there, you know. I got him out and, you know, got my partner, and, you know, we handcuffed him and took him into custody. But I went back and the station, I'm going, I caught a burglar. I caught a burglar. I finally caught a burglar.
On the evening of September 24th, 6 months after her graduation, Linda Davis and her partner, who was driving at high speed while responding to an urgent radio call, crashed their vehicle. Linda was barely conscious when help arrived.
I didn't even know what was going on. But yet, still trying to maintain the composure, because I'm wearing the blue suit. And then I went into shock, and I remember somebody coming in slow motion with this big white lint blanket and laying it over me, and thinking, oh my God, it's going to take me a year to get the lint off my uniform, you know. But it was just so ingrained of being professional, always being on top of it, that even though my brain was completely turned around backwards, it was still working in that fashion. It was weird.
Even after her facial cuts had healed, Linda had trouble with pinched nerves in her neck and shoulders and was unable to work. After months of physical therapy, she returned to duty only to be re-injured in a violent fight during the search of a female suspect. This time, therapy failed to help. To prevent any further nerve damage, surgery was the only solution. The top rib on each side of her chest would have to be removed. She's now recovering from the first of 2 operations.
When I woke up from surgery, I had no use of my right hand or arm. And I'm faced with a situation where the doctors, you know, I think 4 of them have said, you know, you can never work the field again. It's really been hard to adjust because I've been an extremely physical person. And, you know, I horseback ride, and I show, and hike, camp, all this stuff, and all of a sudden now I can't do anything. And I'm looking at riding a desk for 18 years. Unless I can pull myself together and, you know, with the help of, you know, my doctors, get to the point where I can recover sufficiently so that I can go back out in the field. But right now I'm in a holding pattern. I don't know where my career is going. And sometimes I get really pessimistic about the things that have happened to me and trying to understand why. But I think that was more or less the stage I was going through. I'm, you know, back on the upward swing. You know, you can't keep a good kid down.
Of the original 53 rookies we filmed, 35 graduated. Of those, 32 still remain on the force. For Harrington, Jackson, and Davis, the long struggle from recruit to rookie to full-fledged police officer has been won. The job, stripped of its glamour and myths, is theirs. Linda Davis's return to the streets is in doubt. But whatever their status or current assignments, these officers have this in common. They're fiercely determined to remain on the force and to get the job done. For this, we salute them.
Almost gets in an accident.
It's really funny. And it's, you know, some of them just stare at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.